Mayor Muriel Bowser presents 202 Creates. It's a city full of creativity, interconnectivity, and innovation. It's all about hashtag 202 Creates.
With its iconic landmarks and picturesque neighborhoods, DC is a photographer's dream. Hosted by DC photographer Jared Hendricks and Capitol Fringe at the Logan Fringe Art Space in Northeast, 48 DC photographers got to showcase their work for friends, family, and fans.
And it's an opportunity for people to take their photos out of the digital format and put them in print and put them on the wall so that they can experience them with their friends and family and whoever may be interested in it. And then a chance to sell your photo also.
Also taking place at the Logan Art Space in Northeast was the 10th anniversary showcase of Etchy Records, an independent label based in Petworth. The event highlights the release of a compilation album with 7 bands over the past 10 years, which have been part of the DC music scene.
I think that people come to DC for a lot of reasons. It's a good place for jobs as well as for expressing yourself creatively. So you have a good cross-section of the world in this music scene. We've got musicians from Colombia, from India and other places that are part of this music scene and with this label in particular.
The Mexican Cultural Institute hosted a dinner and art showcase to celebrate Jewish Mexican heritage.
I'm Alberto Fierro, the Executive Director of the Mexican Cultural Institute. We are a non-for-profit cultural organization and part of the Mexican Embassy, and we are in charge of all the public and cultural diplomacy of Mexico and the capital of the United States.
Tonight we're hosting a dinner and the theme is Mexican Jewish cuisine. I think that the kitchen and the table and through food is just the most noble way of communicating.
Good morning, everyone. Please come in. Feel free to have a seat. Introduce yourself to someone. My name is Feeney Freeman, and I have the privilege and pleasure of serving as the Associate Director for the Office of Youth Programs, the program that administers the largest summer youth employment program in the country, and the first mayoral order done by our great Mayor Muriel Bowser, first second term African American woman. I mean, come on, y'all. Her very first mayoral order was to rename the Summer Youth Employment Program in his honor. So we are officially and affectionately known as the Marion S. Berry Summer Youth Employment Program. So give yourselves a round of applause for that. In this space, there are many of us who have participated, who were a part of it as a host site in various capacities. And so at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Norm Nixon to offer some reflections about his experience and just to tell you a little bit of secrets about the Marion Berry.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, we can do better than that. This is a great day. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right. Young people not here, they're in school, but we got to carry on their exuberant spirit of the young people here this morning. My name is Norman Nixon. I am a proud first ever Marion Berry's Youth Leadership Institute participant. 211 of my colleagues went through the first ever Marion Berry's Youth Leadership Institute. It was a brainchild of the mayor who created it to fill a void of training as it relates to leadership for young people. That same training he gained as a student leader, Congressman Fauntleroy, Andrew Young, so many of Dr. King's lieutenants who went on to become elected officials and leaders in this nation. I grew up in Park Morton Public Housing. Now, never forget, the resident council president said, I'm sending you down to Howard University to participate in the program that was just created. Don't get in any trouble. And me as a young person living 6 or 7 blocks away from Howard University, I was enthralled to be able to stay in the dormitory. And I met so many other young people from across the city, and we made a decision after our 2 weeks of training that we were going to make a difference in this city. I met Mayor Berry. I was actually in the training room sitting on the floor, tired, because we stayed up all night and went to work during the daytime. And he came and shook my hand and asked me what was I doing with my life, and said that I'm going to offer you the opportunity to be an intern in my office. So I was an intern in the office first. And then he later called me one day when I was 18 years old. And he said, there's an office out there that is going to be on the ballot, and I think you should run. And he said, what do you think about it? And my heart kind of sunk down a little bit, but being the tenacious person I am, and I said, yes, I'll do it. And so at the age of 18, I became a delegate to the D.C. Statehood Constitutional Convention, thus making me the youngest person to ever hold an elective office in the District of Columbia. And so I'm very proud moment for me. I got to know the caring side of Marion Berry. He gave me the opportunity to be, I was an advanced man for him, and some of the situations, I can remember playing basketball with him over in Potomac Gardens, me and him playing against the other young people, and him saying, give me the ball, give me the ball. He taking all these shots, and he wasn't making them. So I said, man, I need to shoot the ball, and so I took some shots, and just to see him, I mean, he took his tie off, rolled up his sleeves, and in his shoes was out there playing basketball with those young people. Seeing him being able to just remember the names of people who just were out on the street, or he knew a relative, and just seeing that was just remarkable to me. The Youth Leadership Institute has produced many young people who have gone on to do great things in this city. The program continues. But just last night, one of the Institute alumni, Marcus Batchelor, became vice president of the D.C. State Board of Education. Kwame Brown, who was elected chairman of the D.C. City Council. Kenya McDuffie, who sits on the D.C. City Council. We have Jory Russell, who's the chief of staff for Angela Also Brooks, who's the Prince George's County executive. We've had young people, NFL, Lania and Tamara, who are Mrs. Barry's daughters. Lania, I saw her on TV and in movies. She had a start in a television series. Tamara, who is now leading the Posse Foundation here in the city. So whether it's from education, politics, arts, any field, Marion Berry encouraged us wherever we landed that you need to be a leader. What I really appreciated about him, though, was I can't even remember the year, when the Howard students protested and the riot squad was about to bust in the doors and was about to take over the building. Kimry Hughes, my colleague Kimry Hughes, and I got a call from one of the Youth Leadership Institute participants who was on a roof, helicopter flying over the building. And he said, I didn't know who else to call, but they're about to break in here and do harm to these students. So Kimry and I talked real quick, and Kimry said, I'm running down to the Wilson building to talk to Marion Berry. And he said, Norm, you go up to Howard and see what's going on. So I got to Howard, and I'm standing in front of the riot squad with the students saying, y'all cannot do this. Kimry goes down to the Wilson building. And I want to paint a picture for you, because Kimry's, we probably about 19, 20 years old. I don't know of any other city that a young person could go to the mayor's office and get in and have a conversation with the mayor. As soon as he heard what was happening, they jumped in the car, rolled up to Howard University. He got on the phone with Chief Turner at that time and told them they better not do anything to those students. And he came up there and they negotiated a truce to that situation. Great man. He gave us access to the government. And he also said, last time I saw him, Kimry and I saw him, he said, don't let anything happen to our program, to my program. And we took that to heart. So if there's nothing else, any other type of protest, if I get arrested for anything or demonstrate for anything, it would be to make sure that there's always a Marion Barry's Youth Leadership Institute here in the District of Columbia. My children have benefited from the program. As I told them, I said, your first summer job, you're going in the Institute. You can do anything else you want to after that, but you got to do the Institute first. This is so great that the city is recognizing 40 years of service to this city. And hopefully, as we celebrate 40 years as Marion Barry's Youth Leadership Institute, our goal is to find the young people that have gone through this program and organize and become a force here in this city. So I'm so grateful that they've chose me to be in this program, and I had the opportunity to meet the mayor for life, the Honorable Marion Barry. Thank you, and we're going to have a great program this year. We're going to definitely have a great program. Thank you.
Awesome. At this time, we'd like a testimonial from one of our host partners, Mr. Farrar Tate, who also went through the program and is now a host and hires youth. And he's going to expound on that.
I stand here humbled, as well as having so many opportunities where men and women have guided us through this process of life. And I stand here humbled because if it wasn't for this institute, I would not have met my best friend. I would not have had the opportunities of starting the businesses and inspiring and impacting the lives of other young persons behind us. So I stand here also to challenge any business in D.C. that doesn't understand you have it is your responsibility as a business owner to reach back and give a young person an opportunity. When these young people have reminded me that my business was not for me. My business was only a platform for me to serve my community that has given me so much. And so I challenge every business out there, every person who has the ability to hire someone, to give a young person who doesn't have to look like you, but that young person is you in somewhere. That person is you. Give them an opportunity to experience work, to wake up for something every day that will make them realize that life is worth living. And when we live it together, imagine what we can do to make this world a better place. So it's this institute that taught me that. And it's you all that remind me that every day when I think I cannot, I know I can because I stand with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I challenge you to let's get it to the next level. I know we can.
Now, we've talked so much about young people, it's only fitting that we have a young person who matriculated through the program recently to give their testimony. Sierra Broderick, would you please?
Hello, everyone. Hello. So I am Sierra Broderick. I'm a little emotional because of Mr. Farrar. That was amazing. I was a participant in the MBSYP program since I was 14 years old. This program has allowed me to see what I'm good at, my strengths, my weaknesses. I also had a resume by the age I was 14. I started off at DPR, and I loved DPR. I was in a paint camp, and I said painting might not be for me. However, I did learn the tools necessary to be an artist. At 15, I went into where we were in the Smithsonian, doing tours for the people in the community, volunteers and visitors in D.C. That was amazing because I am a D.C. resident, born and raised in Ward 8, and I did not know about my city.